I'm making this video of proof of what type of torment that this neighborhood is putting me through and has put us through since I moved back here in 2014. This right here used to be the old Jinx Wallace place. I'm turning around and backing around right now. Since the ordeal happened in my life, I think I've been down this road that I just got through pointing at down that way one time, and that was because there was a piece of equipment that was stuck here. I've lived on this road since I was barefooted and snaggletooth, just as a child, all my life, since 1967, okay? Don Nelson lives right here. That was the son to, well, I done forgot now. Person up the road here. Everybody down here, this is called squatters territory. This is where I live here, okay? Right here on this piece of property. David did live down there until they drove him off into a bad health, and he wound up dying at the age of 51. But just a while ago, Donna Lester, in her little Honda van, gold brown van, pulled up across the road here with 3 children, and I know who the children was. There was a girl with her. I don't know who the girl was. May have been the one that filled out paperwork on me towards going to monstertize or going to criminalize me towards me being a stalker. Now, since all this occurred out here on this block, because of David and I trying to take care of the children, she's moved. But since then, she's tried to come back on 2 different occasions. Well, today makes the 3rd occasion towards them coming into that trailer, looking around, and I'm sure they wasn't going in there to play hopscotch. I'm pretty sure they was going in there to figure out a plan towards what they could do and how that they could do it, or maybe they was going to get some furniture. I don't know. This is a neighborhood plot that I'm dealing with here, and this is the part that I keep trying to tell people about, that a group of people that wanted to ruin my life, along with the judicial system up here in Dresden. This house right here, my aunt had her child in there, Jerry Wayne Madison, right there. This place here was moved in back a few years ago, but it's been vacant because nobody lives there. And right up the road here is where a lot of revivals and people used to go down to the pond and be baptized. This was always noted as the Beech Grove Church community. So there was actually 3 communities in this area. There was the Sidonia community, there was the Beech Grove community, and then there was the Hop-In community. Why within a 5-mile radius they wanted to have 3 different communities automatically tells me that it was a community that was esteemed towards wanting to be the top-notch community, and nobody could get along towards unifying. But this is what I wanted to show my viewers, and I ordinarily don't want to do this, but I do it anyway towards driving down the road. I can see where this piece of property right here had been for rent. Now, the rent sign has been pulled up, but it's been for rent now, give or take, for over a month. I don't know if the people that owned it decided not to rent it, or if it's done been rented out to somebody else. I don't know. But Donna and Lester's house, to the female that wanted to criminalize me, lives right there. You can see part of their window shade right there. So as far as the distance between A and B is similar almost exactly the same to where I live over there between point A and point B. If I'm supposed to be such of a monster towards being the boogeyman, how come this Lester girl and her children is steadily knocking on my door, basically, towards wanting to live under my coattail, knowing that she could live in other spots throughout the neighborhood other than living right up underneath me? I had to actually contact my probation officer and let them know what they was up to, in which I don't know if there's anything that my probation officer can do, but the bottom line is this: there's supposed to be no communications between Donna Lester and me towards being on probation. But how can you validate a no contact order towards two people not supposed to be having no communications with each other if they're going to be living right up underneath each other's coattail? She's got kids. Kids play ball. Balls roll. Eventually, balls will roll over into my yard, and that will give either the kids or her an excuse to come over to my yard and get their balls. Regardless whether it's balls, basketballs, footballs, baseballs, soccer balls, or frisbees, or whatever children play. They wanna have toys. And to my viewers, I wanted you to see that I have just absolutely been tormented by Donald Ridgway purposely wanting to drive me out of this area simply because he don't approve of me coming back to my father and my grandfather's estate that has now been on the books since 1937. He don't approve of it, and because they don't approve of it, the whole community has risen up against Juby. Once more, this speaks volumes about the people that live in this area towards them not wanting to be community discerned, number one. It also speaks volumes about what kind of people that live here, because as I've just got to getting off the phone with an individual a while ago and expressing and explaining to them after my property got vandalized the way that it did, you know, it's one thing for a group of people not to love you, support you, and embrace you, and get in behind you. And that's no doubt what they've done here in Northwest Tennessee. But it's another thing for them to literally attack you because of anti-Semitism. And it's even reaches another level of hullabaloo whenever the judicial system sets back and allows them to do it, because as far as I'm concerned, then they become a part of the anti-Semitism. I've been kicked out of almost every one of the churches here in Northwest Tennessee simply because of them being prejudiced, discriminating against my character towards what has happened to me and the ideology that I believe in. This that I've been receiving is not supposed to be the American way towards, this is where David, my brother, lived, towards people attacking people simply because they don't like the color of their hair, the color of their skin, their religion, their ideals, their ideology, towards whether or not you're was born an American and you moved over here and you become an American. These type of hate-mongering people are not supposed to be in existence over here in America, and there's a whole crop of them right here. A whole crop of them. From Kenton, Tennessee, to Sharon, Tennessee, to Greenville, Tennessee, to Dresden, Tennessee, to Martin, Tennessee, to South Fulton, Tennessee, to Union City, Tennessee. A whole area right here of people that discriminate and literally target people such as myself. Even though my whole theme has been Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. So you see, these make-believers that claim that they have the same ideology or similar ideology as mine pertaining to being born again through the blood of Christ, they're only fakers. They're only actors. They're only pretenders. My grandfather, Kelmer Jackson, and his father, Jeffrey James Jackson, built that pond right over there. And that's where I was given my crown of thorns, March the 22nd, 1988. As I was being given my crown, I actually stumbled and fell over a fence line trying to get back to my little red truck. And I almost broke my neck in doing so, because it was a frightful experience by not only visually, tangibly seeing the angels of God come out of heaven, but hearing their wings, knowing that what they was doing. They was actually promoting a revelation at that particular point in time in my life, not just for myself, but for all the Christian society, towards the first seal in the book of Revelations being opened. And like I said, I don't have a problem in people ignoring me. I don't have a problem in people being bitter to the point that they backstab me and want to talk bad about me and not support me. But whenever I'm being attacked, and I know that I'm being attacked, I got a problem in that. Just like me having to contact my probation officer and let her know what the same girl is up to, because if I was such of a monster, if I was the boogeyman, why does she want to be up underneath my feet for? These 2 grain bins was built in honor of my brother that got killed in 1976. They was built in 1977. And in 78, 79, and 80, Dad may have filled one of them up halfway, and the other one, I don't think, never did get no beans or corn in it. In other words, things was going downhill at that time in the agriculture community, because people was having to pay 20, 18, 20, 22% interest, and the rich man was basically destroying the little man, or the little farmer at that time. Just destroying him. There was no programs during that time. There may have been a set-aside program, but how many people wanted to do that at the expense of about half of the money that they would have made at that time versus actually putting in a crop? The old home place where I was raised up at is right here. In behind all that brush and all those growed up debris and stuff, you can still see the corner of the house right there. Let me see if I can get this like this. Right there. You can see the foundation of the porch right there. There's where the porch was. You don't think that I got childhood memories of living out here all of my life, growing up as a youngster, before I finally decided to move away and come back? You don't think I've got memories of the angels that I can still to this day feel the crown of thorns planted up onto my head? And no, I do not believe the Catholic religion has a crown, the original crown of thorns. They may have a crown of thorns, but they don't have the original crown of thorns, and I'm going to tell you why. Whenever Jesus Christ went through what Jesus Christ went through, that was looked upon as being horrible, even during its day, towards being nothing but a mockery. A mockery in the sense that if you even so much as uttered the name of Jesus Christ for many, many years after that crucifixion, you was substitute yourself of either going to jail or being executed, being crucified similar to how he was crucified, because they did not want that name broadcasted amongst the general public. And it wasn't until about 350 years until some king decided to declare Jesus' ministry as it being an authentic, genuine ministry. Well, during that time that people was mocking, gawking, being arrested, ridiculed, do you think that they was going to be concerned about grabbing up a crown of thorns at that time? If anything, they would have burned them. They would have burnt the crown of thorns that they placed upon the Jesus' head. They would have burnt anything that was pertaining to that man. That's the reason why I do not believe the Catholic Church is in good standards towards telling people that they have the original crown of thorns or even part of the original crown of thorns. Because it don't add up. Plus the fact that wood, eventually, after it petrifies, will in fact turn to stone. A crown of thorns is nothing more than stubble. Eventually, that will turn into powder. Pure, mere powder, and will vaporize itself. Even in an enclosed tomb, even if it was airtight, it would still eventually turn into powder. So, the theology that the Catholic Church announces or pronounces towards them having the original crown of thorns, I think is nothing but a hoax. It's been a hoax, and various rabbis and priests that's associated with that group knows that it's a hoax. Once more, this anti-Semitism has come from that house right there and this community right here towards people embarking upon my rights, knowing that David and I had good intentions towards wanting to help them children that was over. What the Lester family don't realize is whenever you're dealing with children, you're dealing with a completely different level than you would be if it was just her and her boyfriend. You know, if she wants to be a whore and whore around and sleep with this one and sleep with that one, that's fine and dandy. You know, or a whoremonger. You got that right here in America that you can either be a whore or a whoremonger. You can be a prostitute. You can be a stripper. You can be whatever you want to be in America. But not at the scene and the sight of embarking upon children's lives, especially if you're endangering them children because of the atmosphere that they're living in. And that's exactly what David and I felt like, that the children was being embarked upon to a lavish lifestyle that was not suitable for any child to live in. In addition to the trailer right now, I guarantee you could walk into it and there would probably be rats, feces, and everything else. It's not suitable for children to live in. Even living out here in the middle of Timbuktu in the country, it's not suitable. So I wanted to share that with my viewers, that it looks like another planned attempt by Satan's followers towards trying to run Juby out of the neighborhood.